Just wanted to give a couple quick tips on the CNC router. So this is going to be the very first video that you watch, so don't feel like you have to understand how to do any of what is happening in the background of the computer right now. I just want to talk a little bit about bits that we're using for the CNC router. It's possible. Let's just find a really complicated logo. We're going to find a Red Bull logo. And let's bring this in, copy and paste it. You don't have to do this. I just want to give you an example of what we got going on here. So make this a little smaller so we can see it. When we decide, so you'll learn in the videos how to turn this into toolpaths and do all kinds of things to manipulate it. But what we need to know is which router bit to use, because we're going to actually be cutting these things out. So I'm going to highlight the Wayzata here for just a second. We'll talk about profile and pocket toolpath later on in the videos, but if I choose a profile toolpath, what's going to happen is the router bit is going to follow around anything that's highlighted in pink. And I get to pick the end mill, or I get to pick the tool that I'm going to use, and some really common ones are probably loaded up in your VCarve already. So an end mill, it gives us a little preview of what an end mill looks like here. If I click on a ball nose bit, it shows me what a ball nose bit and a V bit. Now a V bit is probably the most common bit that we're going to use for making a sign, and don't worry about these settings right now. I'm going to click on a V bit and just say select it, because I want to show you what happens with the V bit. If we go really deep with the V bit, we lose a lot of detail. So the cut depth up here, again, we're going to go through this in a later video. I just want to make sure that you understand the router bits and how much detail that you can actually have in something that gets cut out on the CNC router. Let's say we go an 1/8 of an inch deep with this V bit. Realize that an 1/8 of an inch deep isn't terribly deep, but let's see what happens in this preview when I go an 1/8 of an inch deep. And I'll say preview all tool paths, and we can see that that Wayzata is pretty clear. Now let's say I edit this, and I'm going to go a 16th, 0.0, whoops, too many decimal, 0.625, and I say calculate. I'll reset and I'll preview. Do you see how that Wayzata is a little crisper? Because that V bit is shaped like a V, and the deeper the V goes, the less detail that we have. The smallest V bit that we have that we're able to use is a 16th of an inch V bit. So if I come back up here and say select, you probably won't even see that here, but it is an option that we do have for a really, really thin. We'll go in the video how to make new ones, but just know that we have a really, really tiny, almost looks like a needle V-bit. The problem with that is it doesn't always cut super clean. So I would plan on really detailed items using the laser engraver for. So if you've got a really, like this Red Bull, we'll go back to this Red Bull thing that I brought in. If you want to make this Red Bull sign, and I'll quickly do this because I should have had this done beforehand. Let's go down to a few colors. Let's just say we're going to keep all these colors. Let's just do this. If we are going to do the Red Bull, and I skipped some colors because I just want to show you here. If I'm going to do this, and I want to use the V bit, let's say I go at a 16th of an inch and I calculate this, what you're going to see, preview all tool paths, what you're going to see on here is that I can see a lot of what's going on here, but these cuts around the legs of the bull are going to start running together. So I would not take something this detailed and try to use the CNC router for it. I would just use the CNC router on your clock or your sign for like the numbers or a big logo that you're going to do. The Trojan head is about as detailed as we want to get on that clock or sign. I hope that helps. Good luck today as you are